Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and our Simple Abundance year as we follow through Sarah Vaughan Brownick's book, Simple Abundance. And today's entry, it's October 12th, 2020, if you're watching real time. The entry is a great segue from the last video, which was about coping with stress. And we've been talking about burnout and what ties into all of that. It's time, right? It can be that feeling of not having enough. I would say that that's the root of a lot of stress. It could be that you have demands on you coming from multiple directions. But in a lot of cases, it just feels like if you just had a little more time, then you'd be able to get more done, and then you might be able to take the time for yourself that we talked about. And in one of Sarah's entries that I added to the last video, it was like, why do we have to wait until we have some dire disease or something like life-altering experience for the negative before we take some extra time for ourselves and have boundaries and things like that. So I really like this entry today. It's called A Tale of Two Times. And I've never thought about time in this way. And I actually looked up on Wikipedia these two words that Sarah tells us about today. Well, and she starts out with Charles Dickens' words. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. Yeah. Even just that statement. There can be bad and good things happening simultaneously, right? But what we're going to talk about today are these two words for two different kinds of time. That's what she means by two times. Kronos and K Rose. And I looked this up because I've never heard of K Rose. I've heard of Kronos before, but they're both Greek words. And, I only took the K Rose definition down, but that's because I think she explains Kronos in a way that we can understand it. But Kronos is like the time that we know. It's our schedule. It's real time. It's what we keep track of and all that stuff. But then there's another kind of time, and it's this Kairos. And from Wikipedia, it says Kairos is an ancient Greek word meaning the right, critical, or opportune moment. The ancient Greeks had two words for time, Kronos and Kairos. Oh, and here we go. The former refers to chronological or sequential time, while the latter signifies a proper or opportune time for action. And Sarah talks about Kairos as infinity, transcendence. It's like the spiritual time. Yeah. I'm going to just read what she says. Well, she also says at the beginning, too, that since the dawn of time, we've tried to understand time. And it's just a mystery. And it's like we never feel like we have enough of it, right? But this is amazing here. What a sculptor and poet, his name was Henry van Dyke, says. Listen to this. This blew my mind. Time is too slow for those who wait, too swift for those who fear, too long for those who grieve, too short for those who rejoice. Yeah, that is true. Think about the times that you've been in grief or heartache or going through something. It's like it's never gonna end. It's like this move I'm in the middle of. It feels like it's been going on for 6 months and it's never gonna end. And it's funny too that this entry came up because I have been saying multiple times over the last couple weeks to people, there's not enough hours in the day. That's what I've been saying. And I shouldn't be affirming that because what she goes on to say is time's a mystery. And she makes a point about anybody who's had extra time, well, for centuries, those with time on their hands, like saints, poets, mystics, masters, sages, and philosophers, they've pondered this time. And when you slow down, time actually goes a little bit slower. In fact, I think back to March when our country essentially shut down and I was home a lot. I really felt like there was more time in the day. Although I guess I didn't have as much to do either. There weren't as many demands on me. So here's Annabelle. So it's kind of like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Did I feel like I had more time because I had less to do? I don't know. It's kind of hard. But I do agree. Sometimes when you're on vacation, it doesn't feel like it's going by. Well, the days might go by. You might feel like it's over quickly. But when you're just kind of settled in on the beach or something, and you just, it doesn't feel like it's you're running against this schedule, right? What do you think? Annabelle's got a couple of times. It's snuggle time, sleep time, eat time, and she has that afternoon sunbathing time. She was doing it today. Ah, to be a cat. So we learned about these two kinds, Kronos and K Rose, right? We exist in Kronos. We long for K Rose. And the word is Kairos, in case you're wondering. This is a duality, she tells us. Kronos requires speed so that it won't be wasted. Kairos requires space so that it might be savored. We do in Kronos. In Kairos, we're allowed to be. That was one of the things, the be, not do, from our stress list, right? We think we've never known Kairos, but we have. When making love, when meditating or praying, when lost in music's rapture or literature. Reverie, when planting bulbs or pulling weeds, when watching over a sleeping child, when snuggling in bed, laughing at the antics of our pets, and delighting in a sunset, and when exulting in our passions. We know joy in Kronos, she said, or Kairos, she says. We glimpse beauty in Kairos. Remember what it means to be alive in Kairos and reconnect with our divinity in Kairos. Can you guys think about the difference between the different kinds of time and how I get it when she gives us that list of things? You can lose yourself in those moments, right? Well, in a good way. I don't mean lose yourself. Well, you could lose yourself in Kronos in a bad way and then lose yourself in the joy and everything in the Kairos. So how do we exchange Kronos for Kairos? These are her suggestions. By slowing down, by concentrating on one thing at a time, by going about whatever we're doing as if it was the only thing worth doing at that moment, by pretending we have all the time in the world, so that our subconscious will click in and make it so. Maybe that's what I need to do. By making time, by taking time. It only takes a moment to cross over from Kronos to Kairos, but it does take a moment. All that Kairos asks is our willingness to stop running long enough to hear the music of the spheres. Today, be willing to join the dance, and then you'll be in Kairos. It's a tongue twister between those two. And the making time, I guess that would, I love my schedule, but that would be evaluating. Maybe there are things that you can delegate to other people. Maybe there are things that are out there that are going to make your life easier, like having somebody deliver the groceries, things like that. There's probably things that you don't have to do and that may not even cost you extra money to change some things around. So maybe be thinking about how you can make some more time using your time wisely, right? And then think about this K Rose. It's a new concept for me. I don't remember this entry from the past. So be thinking about how you can be, I think you're always going to have kronos unless you go off and live by yourself in the woods, which we've talked about before, but it's not really realistic, right? But think about how you can try to get that balance. I didn't read the whole entry, but she said something about yin yang, you know, how it's like a delicate dance between these two types of time. So maybe if you feel like more of a resonance with K Rose, then you try to push the scale a little bit more towards that. I'm going to be thinking about it for sure. Let me know what you think, and I will see you another time when I have time to do a video. Thanks for watching, and please leave me a comment. I love hearing from you guys, and I'll be back again soon. Love to you all. Bye-bye.